Hey, Ashley, thanks for being here today and taking time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We just want to just share a few minutes with parents and caregivers to help them understand day treatment at Christian Family Solutions. Kind of how does it work? Who benefits most? And especially in your program, how does it work to be effective in an online format? So I've got about maybe five or six questions for you. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how do you know when a teen needs more than outpatient counseling? And are there signs that parents can look for?
Yeah, lots of ways that we can assess for that. So I think one way would be is if we're noticing a lot of struggles in the school environment. If a teen is just having trouble with grades or attending school or just different struggles that they hadn't had in the past, maybe with school, that could be a huge warning sign for parents to say, hey, we might need more therapy. I think also if they've tried traditional therapy and it hasn't been successful, if they've been at it for a few months and they're just like, we're not seeing enough progress here. If they're isolating more, if they're not spending time with their friends, they're irritable, just different behaviors that kind of are causing struggles within the home environment would also add to a
Yeah.
reason for a referral to our program.
How does it work when you're participating in an online format?
Online is great for a lot of reasons. I think a big one is we can reach kids throughout Wisconsin. I mean, our program is not in one specific location. We can reach kids who normally wouldn't get our services because of our location. We can see anyone in any part of Wisconsin. Because we're online, I think we get a lot of kids who wouldn't walk through a clinic door, that their anxiety is so high that getting to a clinic would be too much for them. So for them to be able to connect from the comfort of their own home, we do have kids who connect from school also, but in their safe space where they're able to join group and feel connected to other peers and also feel safe within their environment.
What is a typical week, typical day like for the client and then for the family?
Yeah, for the client, our group is from 1 to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. So again, they connect virtually on a screen from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Every day, the first hour, they do this is how my night went, this is how my day is going, just kind of check in on how they're feeling in that first hour, get feedback from other kids in the group. And then that second hour, they learn skills to help them be successful outside of group. For the family, it's one family session a week, typically 45 minutes to an hour outside of that group time. So right after group, they could meet, or it could be at 5 o'clock at night if a parent has a job. Also, usually virtual. So a parent can connect from their home. They don't have to drive into a clinic. They can meet through the computer.
Okay. And does the client also get an individual session a week?
Yeah, we do one individual session a week also outside of that group time. So again, they get feedback from peers in group, but then they can meet with an individual therapist and get some of their own individual needs assessed and have that opportunity to talk to them. Again, 45 minutes an hour once a week.
How many days a week and how long is a program? Like what can parents anticipate?
Yeah, so we are 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. And then typically we say our program lasts on average 4 to 6 months.
Okay. And why is every day, 4 to 6 months, so important in the success?
Yes, great question. Our teenagers have very stubborn brains. Is how I like
Okay.
to phrase it, that it takes a lot for their brains to make change. And so we're teaching them new skills. They've been either wrestling with or struggling with anxiety, depression for a majority of their life, and now we're asking them to address it and change it, and that takes some time.
I imagine the consistency of seeing each other every day, they build more of a trust.
Yes, so I think that's the first couple weeks slash months of our program is just kids coming in and feeling like they can open up and they can share things. And that's with other kids, but also with our staff. Like it takes some time for them to feel comfortable and safe being able to talk about stuff that they haven't talked about before.
Yeah. I'm glad you build that trust and you can do it virtually. So in what ways have you incorporated maybe specific techniques that you do online that make it effective and that you may not see in person?
A really cool opportunity that we have online is we have what we call breakout rooms. So we have different virtual spaces that we can have different group members meet in different places. So if we have half the group meet over here, or if someone just needs a break from the whole group together, we can pull them out and meet with them individually right there in that group setting. They don't have to like physically go to a different location or anything like that. We can just do that right in the middle of our group time.
All right, that's great. Do you typically have a couple of providers in your group? How does that work?
We always have 2 staff present for the group, specifically for the reason of we want to make sure that if someone needs a break, if for whatever reason, if technology goes weird and someone just disappears from the group, we have someone that's calling a parent, contacting a school, making sure that we get them back on or we know what's going on with them as quickly as possible. So there's always 2 staff available.
How is faith integrated into treatment, and does a client have to be Christian to attend?
We incorporate faith as much as needed. We sprinkle it in every day in the sense of we're talking about how each individual is applying their faith that they have. So if we have a kid who is very active in their faith life, we incorporate that into their individual skills. If we have clients who are coming in who aren't as active in their faith life, that's okay. We just don't incorporate that into their piece of treatment. We talk about it as a group whole, but again, we're not lecturing or preaching in those moments.
And I imagine too, because it's a group setting, everyone comes in with different values, so you learn respect all around.
Yeah, I mean, we do talk about Christian values. I think right now our skills are set up that we're talking about the fruits of the Spirit. Again, you could look at that from a Christian lens or just basic life skills that we need to have, patience, kindness, those pieces that we add into our group. Again, we can view it from the religious perspective or just a day-to-day life perspective.
What are your requirements for having an adult nearby during groups? And what do you do when 2 parents work outside the home?
So I think the biggest thing that we ask is that a parent needs to be available for a phone call. And that, again, if their adolescent teenager is connecting from home, they would be able to leave work if needed. Like I said, if they randomly disappear from group, their screen shuts off, we would call the parent. If the parent could call them and just get them back onto group, no problem. But if we call the parent and the parent can't get a hold of them, if the parent needs to, they would have to go home and check on them.
You did mention that they can do your group from school. How does that work?
Yes, same thing. We would just need a contact person at school. So typically the school sets aside a room for the individual to use. And then if for whatever reason we would need to get a hold of someone, we have a school contact person that we can reach out to.
So they can stay in their community, do their school day, and then hop over to you and then go back to dance class or basketball, whatever they're.
Yes, we are done at 3 p.m. So yeah, if they need to catch a bus, if they need to get to a practice, anything like that, 3 o'clock is a typical time most schools end. So we try to be respectful of that.
Could you share an example of a teen who needed the online program, participated in it, and is now thriving?
Yeah, I think without using names or sharing specifics about a client, I think I would share that we have teens who come to us who, again, aren't making it to school. They have built up so much anxiety about school. They're not physically able to get there to learn. We have had many teens who have come through our program who leave successfully and are able to get back to school, to get their education, to feel less anxious in those settings. So a ton of stories about just kids being able to get back into their day-to-day functioning where they couldn't before our group.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And thanks to your team.